So, question from Sophie. What was the most difficult to shoot, Hercules Legend or Expendables? Well, I'm shooting Expendables right now. As you can tell, look quite different from Hercules. I'd have to say Hercules was more difficult in a sense that I worked as the lead character. So I was working 6-day weeks, 15, 16-hour days. You know, I was horseback riding and sword fighting when I had 10 minutes to breathe, and just really gave it my all, but I loved it. So again, both were very enjoyable, and I loved every experience as they were quite different. Thanks, Sophie. All right, Chelsea Davis. How did you get your start in film acting? Wow, that's a good one. I tried it. I fell in love with it, and I pursued it. So really, it's just you got to set your mind to it and be proactive in anything that you really enjoy. And once I just fell in love with acting, I got into acting classes, worked really hard, and positioned myself in front of the right people. And it took a while, sending headshots to different people, and just taking as many meetings as I could and being very proactive, and got a great team. Kellan 3, your question: how did you prepare for your character role? That's a good one. I feel like I've been preparing for Hercules since I was born, and I just love the role. I love mythology. I love that genre of filmmaking, and for me, just reading a lot of books. Iliad was one of my favorite ones, and I just spent a lot of time researching. There's a lot of history. We actually have this great museum called the Getty Villa up in LA, right by where I live. So just did a lot of research and a lot of backstory. Twilight alumni. Are there any other real-life superhero mythical characters that I would like to play? Yes, and yes. There's a lot of them. Hercules is my number one, and I just got that. And for me, I grew up watching MacGyver, so I know he's not like a crazy superhero, but he is a real hero. And he could always figure out and get out of any situation with paperclip, a rubber band, piece of tape. So I'd love to do MacGyver. I'd love to play Aquaman, as I'm a fish in water and I love to swim. I love Johnny Quest, and I've always loved Venom. So if I was to play an antagonist or a villain, I'd love to play Venom in Spider-Man movies. And Josh Hamilton, baseball player, he's a huge hero of mine, so I'd love to portray him if he ever does a movie. Fallon, I adore you. So your question, were you intimidated at all taking on such an iconic character? I've never been more excited. I've always wanted to play Hercules, and I grew up playing Hercules in my own neighborhood and in my own life, so to portray the hero that was the hero to all heroes growing up, I leaped at the opportunity, and I really embraced it. And I've just been so excited to be a part of this movie and to add him to the list of roles that I've been blessed to play. Denise de Lutz. Until now, to you, which of your characters you like most to play? Well, if Hercules, of course, is my favorite, but if that doesn't count, I'd have to say Poseidon, because I love mythology. And I'd have to say Jason Lilly in Generation Kill that I played. He's just a real guy, and I got to talk to him on the phone, and I got to play Marine. So those ones are my favorite roles today. Zara, what do you miss most about filming Hercules? Everything. Can we do the sequel already, please? I loved it. I even loved wearing a skirt and fighting in a skirt. The swordplay, the horse riding, my cast, my director, the world that I got to live in and play in. It's a dream role. So everything. MSV, your question. Will there be any mythological creatures in the film? You're going to have to wait and see. That's a secret. Morales, what was the most difficult to interpret Hercules? Working with so many actors from across the pond, we had a lot of talented actors from Australia, from France, from London, and I didn't want to be contemporary. I didn't want Hercules to not fit in with the other actors who had accents in some way. So really working on a great accent that worked for me that didn't seem cheesy or trying too hard was something that I really wanted to get for the character. And also, what was kind of tough was we were fighting for wigs. I always pictured Hercules with long hair. And we tried on wigs, and Rennie, thank God, said no, there's no way you'd be able to fight in this or ride a horse. And I'm glad I got to be me. And I felt like me with my short, normal hair. Yeah, that's about it. Jameson Duncan, your question. How many hours of study did you delve into your character? A lot. This was my movie. And being a part of Twilight and not really having too much to do, this was my opportunity to really just put all of Kellan into it. So once I got the call and spoke with Rennie and, got the role, essentially, I just dove into it. I dove into the script. I called Rennie every day. We worked on the character and backstory. Read tons of books, refreshed my knowledge of Hercules, and watched tons of movies about the man's journey, because essentially that's what my character is. So, I worked very diligently on my roles and my films, and this one I did it times 10. Jessica Peachman, I love you. Thanks for your question. Describe the movie using only 3 words. Well, I would have to say action, adventure, romance. It's all of it. Elizabeth Frank, what did you change in yourself for the sake of this film? Nothing. I mean, my diet, I guess. I kind of had to, as you know, I'm topless in the film quite a bit. I had to take sugar and gummy bears and chocolates out of my diet during the shoot. And I slipped a couple times, but I did pretty good at sticking to my diet. Brianna Maria, what is your favorite scene from the movie? I have so many, honestly. I love riding the horses. Every scene with a horse that I got to ride, Luke or Zara, was a really fun day. Every day of shooting was great, but I'd have to say the crucifixion scene really meant a lot to me, and I really got emotional, and that really affected me, and I love that scene that we shot.